What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Movie Mob Podcast, where we talk about movies and TV, and I've got some nice, thick, heavy weighted paper here today, made from some good wood. Good wood.
Birch. Good birch.
Only the best wood on the Movie Mob Podcast.
That's right. Nothing but the best. Joining me in studio to talk about my good wood is Matt Sampson, the wonderful and glorious.
What's going on, man?
Good to see you, Matt.
It's good to be back. Movie Mob. You know, some things just feel right.
Right. And joining us from where the f are you supposed to be now?
The trenches.
I'm at the local theater in Gotham. They're
I
renovating.
love that you move your head out of the way so we can see the screen behind you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
it
great.
hasn't started yet.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Just got a shiver. Ooh.
Yeah, now you know what
Yes.
it's
There it is.
like.
Not like the Indian god. Shiva.
It's the ghost of Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah, just a just a little shimmy. Well, how you doing?
Oh, Shiva,
Let me
I
know
got
I'm
that.
still alive.
Now I got it.
There you go.
Yep.
You know? That's
You can
great.
always count on Nick for a good Indian joke.
Yeah, and that voice that we haven't heard yet came from Max, my producer.
Hi.
Maximus.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you. We got a lot of stuff going on today. Mission Impossible has decided to finally, after 50 films,
Oh, come on, man.
end their
7.
The fuck?
franchise. Is this episode 7 or 8?
The new one will be 8.
Okay, so Mission
Oh.
Impossible has decided that they are reckoning no more.
Oh.
Mission
Oh,
Impossible,
come on, man.
Dude, enough.
the
Come on, man.
final reckoning.
Come on, man.
Until
Number
the
8,
next one.
RJ. It's scheduled to release May 23rd of 2025. Have they
That's
already
right.
been filming this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are
Yeah,
they filming?
Yeah, you know
So
what?
it was
Yeah, you know what, RJ? I'm going to take the reins on this one.
Oh.
all right.
Matt-
Yeah, he
Matt
is- he's a
Sampson
big
coming in
Mission
hot.
Impossible guy.
No, let me just tell you, Mission Impossible, this is fucking awesome, okay? I know, you know, you're low Mission Impossible, but let me tell you, nothing gets my wood rock hard like a nice Tom Cruise jumping off airplanes,
Dun,
jumping off
dun,
motorbikes,
dun,
jumping
dun,
off the
dun,
cliff.
dun, dun.
Max, that's right. You play the
Jumping on
music.
wood.
They cut a fucking nice-ass trailer,
Mm.
okay? And, you know, there's 8 of them, but I'm going to say this, Nick. Here's what I'm going to say.
What are you gonna say?
I'm going to
Matt?
say every movie has gotten better.
Which one's your favorite?
Wrong.
Fallout. Okay, well, relax. You'll get your your turn. Fallout's the best. Okay, but the one that just came out is on par. No, but it's fucking what I think what I love most about these movies is just your classic like action movie.
Spy.
You know,
Yeah.
I really don't have to think too much. You know what I mean? I get a lot going on in my life. Sometimes I don't want to think.
So I have a caveat here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And
awesome.
this is from RJ's notes. And I want to
Thank you.
toss to RJ in a second here, but it doesn't say that it's the final film in the franchise.
Maybe not.
It says rumored
It's
to be the
rumored.
final film in the series with Tom Cruise. So, RJ, I want to hear what you have to say about this, but I do have a question leading you into it. Are they going to beat the piss out? Is there going to be a Mission Impossible 25? Like, are we going to have 10 more
Fast and
films?
Furious.
10
Oh, I
more
definitely
films of
think so,
this
yeah.
without Tom Cruise, though?
I don't know where I got the reports from. There was a lot going around when this
Oh, that's
came out, but it's not confirmed that this is definitely his last. They're kind of setting it up to be.
Mm.
And it said, you know, I've heard that behind the scenes, like they kind of want to move on, and he's getting older, obviously. And one of the reports that I saw was that he wanted, Glenn Powell
Yep.
to take over,
Ooh.
to take in his place. Which, you know, I mean, Glenn Powell is obviously one of the hottest names right now, so it would be a smart thing to capitalize on. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's too big of a name to go on, and I think if Tom Cruise like stays on as a producer and he's able to uphold the quality, even with different people, I think people would see it. I don't know if it would have as much of a draw, but
It's like Paramount. It's one of Paramount's biggest IPs, so they probably don't want.
Yeah,
to
But okay. See, this is where you lose me, the IP thing, and I'm happy that you said that because one of Disney's biggest IPs, well, at least when they first purchased it, was
Star Wars.
right, and they beat the fucking ever-loving piss out of that film, and we're probably, I'm assuming,
Well,
Yeah.
same thing with Jurassic Park and Universal.
Oh,
too,
we'll
though.
get to that later. Yeah.
yeah, we got a lot of shit to talk about
Oh,
today.
nice.
A lot of shit to talk about today, but I will say that I don't think that it's necessarily a good thing to continue on after this 8th film with Mission Impossible, because I feel like, at least for me, Mission Impossible,
It's Tom
Come on.
Cruise.
that's
bro.
Tom Cruise.
gets you going.
Tom Cruise all day long.
his
And
theme
one of the
song.
biggest draws for the Mission Impossible series, at least for me as a filmmaker, is the fact that Tom Cruise does all of his own stunts.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing. You're watching when he jumps off on a motorcycle off of a mountain or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Not only was it actually Tom Cruise that jumped off the mountain on a motorcycle, he did it 6 times.
Him hanging off the plane.
No,
Six
he's the man.
times.
Yeah.
The kid's nuts, dude.
No,
They say that there's these crazy radical evangelical Christians. Fuck that. The Scientologists are jumping off a mountain 6 times in a row. That's crazy.
How old is he? He's in his 60s.
Yeah,
right?
he's 110.
He's 60.
Yeah, but
Right.
he eats babies or something, and
Oh.
that keeps him looking young. You know,
does
the
look
stem
pretty good.
cells, whatever
Yeah.
they do. Whatever it
I'm
is,
sure the
I don't
money
know. I
helps.
think if it's the last in the series, I say great. If it's the last in the series with Tom Cruise, I say
Well,
Well, I think to your point though, Nick, like I agree. Like I think if they want to do something, like I'm always of the mind, like you want to have Glenn Powell in an action series, just make a new series
yeah,
with
exactly.
him as the star, with a new character, like they did
Exactly.
with the '80s and stuff. So
well, it's
that's what I would rather.
like
But
Mission Impossible and James. Like with James Bond, there's always been new James Bonds. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
that's true.
I don't feel like it's the same with Mission Impossible. If
Mm.
that makes sense. Like I wonder if when
Yeah.
Sean Connery
Well,
was the
it
first
can't.
Bond, right?
So here's the thing. So it can't be the same because what's it called? James Bond. It was like 2 or 3 movies, and then it went to the next guy. Or
Sure.
is
Sean
that-
Connery was
does
the
that make
first
sense?
one, right?
It was
Right,
also
right, right.
based on books too.
Yeah.
Sure, right. But the books, it's always James Bond. They don't say that it's a new James Bond. Like we have multiple different
Right.
James Bonds over time. Same with Superman. Multiple different Supermans. They got to look the role, you know, or fit into that
Character.
category of person. No, I'm just because it's not like a race thing. Like I would be happy with a black James Bond personally. I think what were we saying? Who's the guy that played Luther?
But he can't be like a
Idris
little.
Elba.
Yeah, he's good.
Idris Elba as a James Bond would be a sick James Bond in my
Yeah.
opinion. But he's
Definitely.
kind of aging out. You can't have an 85-year-old Idris Elba as a, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know. We can get into this next one here if you want, RJ,
can't-
because we have some what.
Well, I was gonna say you can't call Glenn Powell Ethan Hunt.
No.
This is
You know
what
what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Ethan Hunt
saying.
is Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Right. So and then
Same thing with Jason Bourne, but with
You're right.
Bond, it's been established that there's different actors. You know,
It's like a 007.
this is like, yeah.
yeah. I
But I
don't
was
know.
just gonna say before we move on to just in general this trailer.
Sick.
I thought I've said this to you, Matt, before. I
know.
think they cut whoever's cutting the trailers for these movies is A1
No.
Wagyu.
Dude,
All
no,
right, this and
he's right.
they're so
Wagyu is
simple
great.
too.
They're
It's
so
just
good.
like the great shots, some like vague dialogue in the music, the theme song.
Yeah, wasn't
and it's
there,
a
like,
minute
no
and a
sound
half, 2
effects?
minutes.
in the trailer.
Yeah, it's awesome.
just
That's
sick.
all you need. I'm not gonna watch another trailer for this
It's
movie.
just sick shit, man.
That's all you need.
I had never had any interest in Mission Impossible, man. And I forget what movie we were seeing, RJ, and they showed that Fallout trailer. And after that movie,
Yeah.
I said, RJ, that movie's gonna be fucking awesome. And it
seriously.
was. And ever since I've been a fan, you're right, they cut a great fucking trailer.
Now I will say, and this
Amen.
will lead us into our next one. When we saw the trailer for Oppenheimer when it first came out,
Ooh.
right?
Mm.
RJ had a big issue with Matt Damon's line in there.
Yeah,
like,
RJ didn't
this
care
is,
for
this
it.
is the biggest thing that's
I
ever
still do.
happened. Whatever he is, right? Well, Matt Damon's back. Matt Damon and Tom Holland are set to star
it was
in
good.
Christopher Nolan's next film.
Oh, wow.
What is it called, RJ? Do we know what the next film's called?
We don't know. We don't know
what it's
much.
called.
We
Set to
got some
release.
rumors, more rumors.
Set to release,
I like rumors.
which means it won't happen. But set to release on July 16th, 2026, which is a while away. But if I know one thing, especially with how dedicated we were to Oppenheimer, we will definitely
here.
still be here.
Don't
and
doubt
we will-
Nolan. Don't doubt Nolan.
I don't doubt Nolan. No, I don't doubt Nolan. I'm just saying it's a ways away. Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, Lupita Nyong'o have also joined the cast.
Nice.
And the plot has not been revealed, but rumors have suggested it to be a vampire thriller set in the
Oh.
1920s.
All right.
And
That's great.
it could be that, or RJ, am I correct that these are the...
These are 3 different rumors that have come out.
Okay, so it's either a vampire thriller set in the 1920s, a helicopter action film inspired by Blue Thunder from 1983, or it's a film adaptation of the 1967 British series The Prisoner.
Oh.
And this comes from Hollywood Reporter. RJ, what did you find out about these rumors? How realistic are these rumors?
Well, the vampire one seems to have died out. That was
Oh.
like the initial one that came out.
Yeah, but
that
then
would be
with
definitely interesting,
Nosferatu
like-
coming out and stuff, I'm sure that they
Right.
scrapped that.
And
idea.
it's very similar to plot to the new Ryan Coogler movie that's coming out called Sinners with with Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
I think if I had to put my money on one of these three, I think it's going to be the helicopter one because that just seems so niche that he would do something like that. The
It's probably
Prisoner
an,
rumor, though,
probably
has
an
been
easier sign off too for the Hollywood producers who are saying this
yeah,
has already been made. You can remake it, and we'll approve it immediately. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And the plot rumor too is that it's about an older pilot mentoring a younger one, so that would line up with Matt Damon and Tom Holland in those roles. So
Mhm.
my money's on that. But the Prisoner rumor has been around for a while too. I guess that show was about like it's kind of James Bondy. It's about a secret agent that gets like locked off on an island or something, and he has to escape.
See, I like
So I
that.
mean, they all could be interesting.
I don't.
No, yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how like because like Christopher Nolan is big like the twists and stuff like that. That's what I associate with his
Mm.
movies.
Mm.
I don't understand how like the plot for this helicopter movie. It doesn't sound like a Christopher Nolan kind of movie. You know
It
what
sounds like a misdirection.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
plot not important. Nolan's the guy. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
Nolan you could tell me, yeah, we're gonna watch Paint Dry.
Yeah.
But Nolan's direct. I'm there.
Mhm.
He's probably one of the 3 or 4 filmmakers today. It doesn't. I don't need to see a trailer. I don't need to know what the movie's
You
about.
trust him.
Just I trust. Tell me he's making
Yeah.
it. Asses in seats.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan.
That's a high bar to live up to, honestly. I mean, if you think about it, because the second you make a shit movie, you lose everybody.
Well, did you guys like Tenet?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
like,
but I
just hope
No.
still
this isn't
enjoy it
another
as an
Tenet.
experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like I get why people like it,
But it looked
Yeah.
cool. It
but
still
I
looked
didn't.
cool.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea what was
Right.
going on, and I didn't like it. But I'm like, you know,
It's a vibe.
this looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I see what he's trying
I
to
mean,
do.
Yeah.
what would you guys out of those three, what would you like to see?
Vampire.
I think the prisoner
Well,
one's kind of cool.
see,
I like that
again,
because it's kind of like the Prestige going a little back in time.
yeah,
I like the
I don't
Prestige.
mind the period piece with the vampire. I think Nolan would do an interesting take on it. I also am trying to think about the way that Nolan does his films, like the whole zigzaggy the timelines. You know what I'm saying? How he
Yeah.
starts at the end and then he goes to the beginning, then he goes to the
Yeah.
middle, then he whatever.
Epic.
You know, the prisoner might be interesting because of the escaping from the island or whatever.
Like
It could
time
be
is always involved in his.
Sure. And like
things, too.
with regard to the helicopter thing, what is he going to do? Helicopter action film? I don't know. The vampire thing. I don't know. I don't know how he would do it. I think any of them he
They
would
could
have
all
a
be
good shot
bullshit,
at, but
too.
right, and that's the other thing. None of this could be real, and there's no
Universal
reason to
could be
pay
shoving these
attention
out
to
to
this.
get people on the idiots like us talking about it.
Well, it's
but,
Right.
When I think of
well, I
Interstellar,
think just yeah.
when I think of Interstellar, I can't tie Interstellar to like a helicopter action movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Well,
I
well, you
mean,
don't have
he
to
is
tie
a
them
big-
together.
Well,
You
yeah,
can make
but-
movies about a bunch of different things. You can't tie Interstellar to Oppenheimer either.
Right.
I don't mean like time together, but like the way the movie was made, or not made, but like the sci-fi twists of that movie. I don't know how he could implement like those kind of twists that he's known for in a helicopter action movie.
No, I
That's just
think
me.
he could do it though. Like take
Oh,
some
yeah.
elements.
Well,
of
look at
Dunkirk, 'cause I
Dunkirk.
feel like
I
the
was just gonna
flying
say, look
scenes
at
in there-
Dunkirk.
Yeah,
You
that's
could
where
do
we're going.
something
Yeah,
where
that's
there's
true.
3 stories in one.
That's true.
Dunkirk.
Same with The Prisoner. See, I think, okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'll say the film adaptation of The Prisoner is probably going to be the best take. That's my opinion, I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I
I
It
think,
sounds the most Nolan out
I
of
would
the three.
agree.
Yeah.
right, that's kind
Yeah.
of where I'm
Yeah.
going
Most
with it.
plausible one too.
What do you
know
think,
I mean?
Matt?
No, I agree with that. I think the prisoner one sounds sick. I mean, this cast is awesome too. I mean,
I think any of them would be cool.
Yeah.
But,
I think
yeah.
the prisoner one is the most plausible. You know what I mean? You're kind of right. Like the vampire one and the helicopter one, they sound sick, but like how I don't know how we would do either
I
of
don't
those.
know. A lot of women, dude. A lot of women.
What's wrong with that?
No.
Yeah, but
can't
I
fly.
heard Zendaya has like a very small role.
Well, yeah,
Oh.
but
And I
it's
think
because
what
of Tom
Nolan's
Holland.
smart
That's
about-
why.
She's great. though.
Exactly. And he's brilliant for doing that because he did it in Oppenheimer. He throws like the
Small
Diary
role.
of a Wimpy Kid in like small roles to get like those niche people who see it on TikTok to go. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's not an
He
idiot,
threw
that's for
Huey
sure.
from The Boys in. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
Like, and what's his name? Josh Peck was in it.
yes.
Like, I think he knows what he's
Oh,
doing
yeah, I
there. He
forgot
put
about
Harry
that.
Styles in Dunkirk.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing too. When you have Zendaya and Hathaway and Lupita Nyong'o, it kind of goes more toward the vampire thing, in my opinion.
I agree.
I don't see.
Anne Hathaway, it's awesome.
Anne Hathaway's awesome. Is that what you said?
She's great, and she's great in his movies too.
Helicopter, dude.
She's also great in like Princess Diaries. That's a good film from way
Yes,
back
I
in
heard
the
they're
day.
doing a new one of those.
I
too.
loved Princess
My
Diaries.
mom does too,
Great,
yeah.
great movie. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, good.
I was gonna say before we move on though to Matt's point, just about Nolan.
Yeah, go.
Like I think officially with Oppenheimer, if it wasn't already before, like he established himself as like
He's the hit.
he's got a movie coming out, you go to see it.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's pretty clear now, like our generation, like if we're going 2010s on, I think him and Denis Villeneuve are like they're the
Tarantino.
best of our generation.
Yeah,
But I think Tarantino's earlier. I think he would take probably the early 2000s with
Yeah.
Fincher.
When we were younger.
Like, but I think like
Even the
2010s,
90s,
this
the
era
90s.
has been dominated by Nolan and Villeneuve.
Yeah, they're two of the biggest guys right now. Honestly,
yeah.
it's their time. This is their prime. you
And
know?
I think I like the
Yeah.
fact that it's there's consistency. He always uses relatively, I would say, the same cast. Obviously, we got some new people in here like Tom
Mhm.
Holland and everybody that comes with him, but Matt Damon's in there. I guarantee you we'll see more of his
boys.
boys.
Yeah, he's got his crew.
Cillian.
You know, maybe. Yeah.
Kind of like he has like he rotates. Like he falls in love with a few people and then moves on,
Yeah,
and
that's
then he's
fine
got
with me.
like new people.
Yeah,
like it.
speaking of
It's like
moving
no more
on,
DiCaprio.
I wish that he would do the moving on thing with Matt Damon personally. That would be
Yeah, I've seen enough of Matt Damon.
yeah. you
Outside of
know?
the Bourne movies,
Yeah,
I'm all set.
I watched Goodwill Hunting and I was like, okay, that's enough. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, That was
Not
just
gonna
me
lie, when
personally.
they said that it
I'm
was
not good.
Tom Holland and Matt Damon,
Hmm.
my excitement decreased.
I agree.
Then
Yeah.
when they said that Anne Hathaway and Lupita Nyong'o were in it, I was like, all right.
Yeah,
But the
You
two
don't- you're
of
not a-
them,
you're not a
I'm
Tom-
not the biggest fan of either of them.
you're not a fan of Tom Holland, really?
I don't know. Give me an
Spider-Man.
example of something Tom Holland's done that it was
Spider-Man.
good other than Spider-Man.
Oh,
I feel like he's
I love
gotten
Spider-Man.
bad reviews and about everything else that he's done.
until
What
now.
else has he
Like he
been
did
in
that
other
movie
than Spider-Man?
Cherry. He did that Russo brothers Cherry that got bad reviews. He did that serial. What was that show?
Okay, but can we just
that
agree, RJ, that we've seen actors who
Yeah.
have gotten bad reviews? Not
Sure.
the actor themselves has gotten bad reviews, but the movie has gotten bad reviews, but the actor did a great job.
Yeah, I'm just saying based on what we've had from him so far, he wouldn't have been my first pick to be in this.
Interesting.
I would have
you
rather.
okay,
he
but if
brought
you're going to
back
be
Robert
opposite,
Pattinson or something.
that's fair. But I don't think that Robert Pattinson's going to play the same as a young mentoree versus Matt Damon or opposed Matt Damon or whatever. I think that you need that because Tom Holland's what, my age? How old's Tom Holland? Do we know
I'll
offhand?
find out. Hold on.
He's probably
He's
younger.
probably like 29.
Okay, yeah, so he's my age or
I
in
feel, like
that
he's
range.
still, I feel like
30.
he's still getting like the kid
Shut up.
role, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, he's
Tom
got a
Holland's
young-
always
No,
like,
but
he's
I'm
a young
saying
look.
you need
No,
somebody
yeah.
who's mature enough to handle the bigger role,
He's 28.
or somebody you're able to see that arc, right? So you can start Tom Holland off in the beginning of a film, or in Nolan's case, the end of a film. You can start Tom
Mhm.
Holland off as being the young novice, not understanding what's going on, and have him grow up throughout a series, and
Yeah.
you dress him differently, and all of a sudden he looks older. Whereas like Robert Pattinson, you can't make him look 20 anymore. I don't think he's kind of
old.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Tom Holland.
I will say
Batman,
Nolan's.
dude.
Tom Holland could easily play a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
in my
he's
opinion.
playing
Yeah.
Spider-Man who's in high school.
Right.
You know what
He's
I mean?
fucking 30 years old.
Yeah.
You know.
He's got a young he's got a young look.
And
you know?
Nolan's done that mentorship thing well. He did it in The Dark Knight Rises with like Bale and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. They have that nice little mentorship. So I'd like to see it. My money's on, if these are true, my money's on the helicopter one, but we'll see. I'm there either way.
Well, Simon Kinberg from X-Men has signed on to write a new Star Wars trilogy. Are we ready to all commit mass?
Seppuku
Yeah.
in the theater.
What's
It's funny because we've been talking
one-
about this for
it's the-
2 years and everyone just keeps leaving.
Oh, it's
the
one of
Japanese
these. Can I say
disemboweling of
seppuku.
oneself.
They have
Yeah.
they have a lot of honor to Japanese. Seriously.
They
You know,
know they know when enough is enough.
No, they do. They're like, you know what? We lost. That's it.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no real
Take
like.
a note from the Japanese, Disney.
Yeah, man. I like. Okay. All right. Sorry. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say. I couldn't give a shit less about this, RJ, and I don't mean that in a rude way. And I appreciate you doing the research
No,
on it.
I'm with you.
Couldn't care less. Daisy Ridley set to return as Rey. Couldn't care less.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
which X-Men did he do?
I don't know.
He's a
You
writer?
got a
He wrote
fucking
the newer ones,
supercomputer
like-
in the palm of your hand. Let's not interrupt the show. I'm in the middle of a spiel here. Let me spiel. We got
He wrote the new ones.
Unclear whether it will be a continuation of the Skywalker saga or something new. My money's on not something new, since they don't do anything new in Star Wars.
Well, that next quote tells you.
Yeah, quotes from the insiders at Lucasfilm regarding the franchise. Star Wars is a nostalgia-based enterprise, and they are running out of ways to create nostalgia. Finally, somebody at
they
Lucasfilm.
know they somehow know inside, and they're still doing it.
That's right, because they watch the Movie Mob podcast, RJ. That's why.
Can I ask you guys?
They announced.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say they announced that they were gonna do like a new series of movies with Daisy Ridley like 2 years ago, and originally it was like I think the Peaky Blinders writer Stephen Knight was brought on, and everyone just keeps leaving. And at what point are you gonna be like, okay, like maybe we should not do this? Like you've had like 2 or 3 people just leave this project outright.
Right.
And it sounds like they're developing multiple different movies at the same time, and they're gonna choose which one to go with. Like, that's not a good plan. Like,
no, I'll tell you right now, the time they
this?
should have given up was at the end of episode 3. That would have been dope if they stopped making fucking trilogies at the end of episode 3 when Revenge of the Sith came out, and they should have let it stand the way that it is, and in 50
that's
fucking
George's
years,
fault, really.
In 50 years, they can remake them because that's what's going to happen. But I'll be dead and gone by then, so I couldn't give a shit less.
Well,
I don't know.
It's
Who
wicked
knows?
frustrating with Star Wars because it's like they can literally do whatever the fuck they want. Like they can make any story they want. They have an entire galaxy that they can choose from, and how many books they have in the Star Wars universe that they could choose from and try to make something with. And they just keep picking the same old story that is dead and beaten by now. That when it ended, everybody hated.
Well, it's like superhero fatigue. Like, I don't think superhero fatigue exists. I think it's just the quality has gone down. The writing's not as good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like look at the Marvel movies that have come out since Endgame. I don't think we were sick of Marvel. Like, I was excited after Endgame, and then the stuff that came out just wasn't good.
Personally,
I think the same goes for Star Wars.
I think they should just let sleeping dogs lie, RJ.
They need to take Kathleen Kennedy out back, dude. That's what they need to do. She sucks.
Maybe
she's the root of all evil when it comes to Disney.
I don't know. I just think there were, like you said, Max. There were opportunities to capitalize on it. Doing like a Knights of the Old Republic like series seemed like a no-brainer, but they just don't. They're so scared to move away from the characters that everyone knows. The name in of itself should carry it, and they just don't want to do it. And I think they've dropped the ball, and I think it's too late, too little, too late.
Yeah, I would love if there was a moment in Star Wars. If you have to make more Star Wars films, and Matt, I'd love your take on this too. But if you have to make more Star Wars films, wouldn't it be cool if there was a pod at the end of of episode 9, let's say, if they had done this? Wouldn't it be cool if there was a pod that got ejected on accident with something else in it?
Okay.
And it crash lands on a planet that we haven't been to yet.
It's like Dragon Ball
with
Z.
Characters we haven't seen or met before.
Yeah.
That then discover the pod, and then maybe there's a droid with some information inside or something very similar to A New Hope, except with all new characters, all new everything. And you take the fucking franchise off into a galaxy far, far away that we haven't seen before.
It feels like a galaxy very close.
It feels like the same fucking galaxy that it's been since 1972. Okay? It's the same fucking galaxy. And I'm not even saying that the stories are necessarily bad, but like I'm just over it, and it's sad to say that because you feel like this is my childhood. You know what I mean? This is what I grew up with. This is one of the films or one of the franchises that made me want to make movies. I say it every single time we talk about Star Wars. I saw Revenge of the Sith premiere midnight with my dad and my brother.
That's pretty
sick.
It's
it was one of the best memories I have. I also saw Rambo 4. Dope. But like, what the fuck? Like, what are we like? Everything's force sensitive, like nothing, and then they change the rules. RJ,
they fly.
I don't like that. I don't like.
The only way. Oh yeah, that was bad. I was gonna say the only way they could get me excited about a Star Wars movie again if they were like George Lucas is coming back and he's just gonna go wild at like 80 years old.
Do you think he's pissed?
Like that's the only way it'd be.
I don't think he could be pissed.
I don't
think he has the right to be pissed.
Sitting pretty. I think he probably lowballed it with the money he sold it for. I mean, they've already made that back like 3 times over. And
he sold it for $4.2 billion.
Is like
I think he's sleeping okay at night.
I know, but they like the first movie practically made that. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe,
So I feel
maybe
like
that's
that,
fine, but I think everything has to go with the time. So like at the time, it was worth 4.2 billion.
It's probably worth less now.
But
I
I
think he's
also
a
think
fat
that-
old man
Oh.
who's done. He is.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Slander.
If I can get the fucking sentence out, we can whoa at the end of my take. But I'm just saying, I think he made $4.2 billion on an idea based on Dune that he had in the 70s, that everyone laughed at him, a space opera. I think that it could have flopped. It could have been, A New Hope could have been the worst film that was ever made, and it wasn't. And it was a totally new thing that no one had ever done or seen before or anything. And I think he's doing fine in Wyoming on his fucking 3 million acre ranch or whatever it is. And quite frankly, I think he's got enough coin that if he wanted to make his own movie or a new story of some kind, he could do it by calling some people up. And who the fuck is going to turn down a call from George Lucas?
Not me.
Right.
No,
So,
you're
like,
right.
if you're a studio or if you're a fucking Regal Cinema or if you're AMC or something else and George Lucas made a movie and he wants to put it out and it's something new entirely, I think he could do that, and I think he could do very well with it. Part of the
You're
appeal...
like, pull a Francis Ford Coppola.
Part of the appeal, yeah, agreed. And but actually make something good instead of Megalopolis or
Hey.
whatever the fuck, you know? Hey, you
It's a
fucking
riveting
told me
film.
it wasn't good, dude. I'm going off of your
Megaflopolis.
review.
I had a fun time.
Okay. All right. I got a fun time for you.
Well, I was gonna say though, I feel like for Lucasfilm, I feel like there's no real pressure on them because they already made the money back that they bought it for.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So like once that's out of the realm and like you're not like trying to make money off of it, you're kind of just like going through the motion, right? And I feel like that's why there's no pressure on them to actually make something good because they know that they're going to put it out with the Star Wars name and some people are going to watch it, and it's like I feel like that's really the root issue.
That's the issue, is that people continue to tune in. When people
Right,
drift
but I do
away
think it's
and they,
dying off.
yeah, when people drift away and they stop paying attention to stuff, Star Wars will be gone, and they'll get rid of Star Wars Land at Disney, and they'll be done, and everything. And this is the problem. If
Mhm.
you kept it at 1 through 6, and fuck it, they've already made the next 3. So if you kept it at 1 through 9, even, which I hate, but even if you kept it there, and you just let sleeping dogs lie, and if you want to go back and you want to watch 1 through 9, you watch 1 through 9. If you're an originalist like myself and you want to watch 1 through 6, you watch 1 through 6. But do we need to continue beating the piss out of this storyline and changing the rules and making everyone force sensitive and everyone can use a lightsaber and everyone can fucking... I'm over it. I'm done, and I don't need to see it. And unless this is something completely out of left field new, couldn't give a shit less, to be 100% honest with you.
Money talks, man.
Well, it's also sad. It's
unfortunately.
like what Disney did to like The Mandalorian. Like the first season of that show was
Yeah, they botched
so
that, too.
good. It was so good, and they fucked it up.
Yeah.
I did fuck it up.
Yeah, everything Star Wars goes to shit.
Yep.
Well, if
Yeah.
you were worried
Not
about
wrong.
Star Wars going to shit, I'm sure.
Here we
Matt,
go.
how did you feel about season 8 of Game of Thrones?
I mean, listen, it was another just, they fucked it up. You know what I mean? It was, honestly, can I just, for a second,
Please.
that was like a high in my life. I didn't realize it at the
Season
time.
8 of Game of Thrones?
No,
was
but the build-up,
high?
it was
build-up, yeah.
such a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Such a beautiful, beautiful thing that they just butchered to all fucking hell and just ruined, and they left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And now when, you're talking to people and Game of Thrones comes up, people say, oh, but season 8, you know what I mean? And it fucking sucks because it's such an awesome show, and the highs of that show are unlike any other show.
Do you think, based on what they did with season 8, that they should bring Game of Thrones back?
No, I think they should let it die.
Really?
You had one chance, you fucked it up.
Well, they're
And
about to fuck it up again because HBO confirms a Game of Thrones movie is in development. Fuck me. I mean, are we really not having any sort of like new ideas out there? I don't
really?
understand it. Now, there is a saving grace. Good old Georgie boy is involved, so that's nice. And it's in the very early stages of development. I wouldn't put it past George R.R. Martin to fucking quash the whole thing if it
Yeah.
goes off the rails
Put the
and be like, yeah, I'm
kibosh on it.
fucking
I don't
outta
think he
here.
has that power though.
I was just going to say, RJ, I don't think he has that power either. And they're going to use and abuse this man until they get far enough along to get a story out of him. And then once they do, they're going to take that story and they're going to fucking squish it and fucking liberalize all of their shit into it. And they're going to put out some dog shit with diversity and whatever the fuck else so that they can win an Oscar because they have to placate to the Academy. and then they're gonna have a shitty movie with bad reviews and everything else. But RJ, I'd love to hear your take on whether or not you think this is a good idea.
Oh, I don't think it's a good idea.
You don't say.
Again, like it's kind of similar to Star Wars. It's like Star Wars was cool when you had a movie every 3 years, and now when you have, we're already getting House of the Dragon. They've said that they're going to alternate the show with that Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So now we're going to get a Game of Thrones show every year. So now I'm like, and we're getting a movie. I mean, obviously this might not happen. It's just an early development, but the fact that they're considering it, it's just like overkill. And I think, I don't know if you heard about it, but George, a few months ago after season 2 of House of the Dragon came out, he kind of went on his blog and ranted about all the problems he had with the season and the show in general, and then he took it down. So now it's kind of in the air that George is unhappy with how they're handling some of these things. And I mean, yeah, I don't know.
It's
I
just too much.
I think it could be interesting if this is a like kind of a development of the Jon Snow thing they were talking about. Because remember they were talking about doing a series. I wonder if they're now turning it into a movie or something. I don't know. It's bad news. I get a bad feeling because again, we've seen it happen time and time again with these franchises.
Agreed. Matt, what do you think?
First of all, I don't know how you do a Game of Thrones individual movie.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
even know like what that would look like. I think that's just, first of all, I think that's a stupid idea.
Unless
I
it's
think
8 hours.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's also stupid. They're just beating the fucking piss out of this too. It's just like Star Wars. This is exactly what Star Wars did. They put out content every year. And you know what happens when you continuously put out content? You miss a lot of the time because you can't hit every time.
I just missed this morning. I was gonna put out a
You know what I
show.
mean?
I'm not putting that.
You
shit
know what
out
I
there.
mean?
It's fucking horrible.
It's nothing. You're right. Let sleeping dogs lie. Nothing's sacred anymore. You know what I mean? No one cares.
I just think that like
It sucks, man.
it does suck. I think that like especially after season 2 of House of the Dragon came out, why are we trying? Why can't we just RJ get back to the fucking basics? It's not
Yeah.
It's like if you're okay, I talk about this if you're an artist all the time, blah blah blah. There are 3 colors that make all the other colors, the primary colors. Red, yellow, blue. Those are the only colors that exist in nature on their own. We have to manufacture red and yellow, make orange, red and blue make purple. We got to manufacture all these things.
Roy G.
Right, Roy G. Biv. But what I'm saying is, why do we need to, like, you can't focus on a million different things at once. We don't need a House of the Dragon and the other series and a Jon Snow. Like, they just take it and they explode with all of these fucking horrible ideas. And if you just got these people in a room, I'm not even saying that the ideas, individually the ideas might be shit, but like if you got all these people in a room with someone who could say, that's shit. Okay, what's your take? Okay, that's shit too. But you can take the good pieces of everything. Fine, you want to make a Game of Thrones movie, that's fine. But we're not just making a Game of Thrones movie here. We're making a Game of Thrones movie, and we have 2 series that are going to be alternating simultaneously. And it's just like too fucking much, dude. Like just I would rather see something completely different that's original come out and then just have House of the Dragon season 3. Why the fuck do we need 7 series and a movie for something that we just had 8 years of, right? And then, by the way, the 8th season, nobody liked it. Nobody liked it, including the creator of the series. So what the fuck are we doing?
I feel like Hollywood doesn't make, like, they don't make shows or movies or anything with, like, an end goal in mind. They just do it, like, they make a pilot just to put it out into the void. You know what I mean? Like, they don't go, all right, we'll do this first movie. And that's why Batman, I think, is so cool, because they actually have a plan. Like,
Yeah,
that's
Matt
why,
Reeves.
like, Matt Reeves is smart.
I'll also say, RJ, I want to go to you in one second, but I also want to say that with the Batman thing as the example, right, which is great, they give you the plan. They tell you what the plan is. We're going to have this one, then we're going to have this series that's going to carry us from the first movie into the second film, but it could be a standalone series, and we're going to focus on it and let it have a through line in its own story. And you won't have to have watched the series to see the second film, but it's going to be an added bonus if you did. And then there's like this whole little through line thing here where if you're an avid fan, if you're really into the Batman as an idea, Matt Reeves has created this world, right? We talked a lot about world building last week. Matt Reeves has created this world where you can kind of jump in, and if you didn't see the first Batman movie, you could start with the Penguin series and then go into the second film, I'm sure, because everybody knows who Batman is, right? It's Bruce Wayne, billionaire who fights crime at night, dressed in a black cape and tights. you know? So like
Mhm.
it's a lot easier. Game of Thrones is probably one of the most complex
Yep.
stories
Yeah.
I have ever heard of in my entire life. The only thing that I would put it on par with, again, like a Star Wars or even a Harry Potter, just the complexity of the world itself,
It's
and
a
all
huge
these
world.
there's so many characters.
And then to dumb it down to 2 hours. It's
Right,
like,
you
Yeah.
chop all of
Yeah.
the one of the best parts of Game of Thrones, in my opinion, is the politics. And again,
Course,
I don't
yeah.
mean like the Trump v. Kamala politics. I mean within their world of how they gain power and what one person doing one thing, how that trickles down across all of the rest of the world. That's a huge aspect of it, and that's why it takes 8 hours to create a story. Times 8, you have 64 fucking episodes or whatever it was, and the original Game of Thrones, I'm sure, had more than 8 episodes in each season, correct?
10.
10.
yeah.
So 10 episodes, so you have 80 hours of content, and people still hated the last 10 hours of it.
Yeah, no, man, they just gotta let it
73
let it
hours.
die.
So now you're gonna have a 2-hour plus. It's gonna be, because of Oppenheimer and
Yeah.
The Irishman, and because it's Game of Thrones, you're gonna end up having a 3-hour film that
Is mid.
is fucking mid at best. And on top of that, I guarantee you it's not going to be a film that has any sort of if you didn't watch Game of Thrones, right? Which you live under a rock if you don't watch Game of Thrones, but I'm just saying, if you didn't watch Game of Thrones and you're going to go into this movie now, how is it supposed to be a standalone film? Well, how are they going to, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't fucking,
Yeah.
in order for it to live up to the Game of Thrones
Moniker.
right,
Yeah.
it's going to have to be uber complex, but also have great payoffs. I just don't see it happening in a 2-hour
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
or even a 3-hour
It,
film.
it
I don't,
feels like an impossible task. I mean, the only way I could see it maybe is if they decided to do like a trilogy. Even then, you'd have to like dumb it down. But I don't see it happen. It's,
it gives me
it's too bad.
It gives me Once Upon a Time in Hollywood vibes, which I wasn't a fan of that film, and I know people give
Oh,
me
wow, really?
Yeah, I really wasn't,
Oh wow.
because it was just kind of like there's no beginning, middle, or end, and you follow a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it's just a lot of shit in your face all at once, and then it's over. You know what
See,
I
I
mean?
like that, but if you didn't, I understand because
I-
that was the movie.
No, well, and this is why I liked like the
There was a
Penguin.
plot, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was not. I don't. Predictable, such a bad word, but it was like
It was simplified.
It
it
made
was
sense.
simplified, but it allowed you to like care about the people. Like it wasn't overdone. It wasn't too much.
They knew what they were doing.
Right. And I just don't see that with this. I could be totally fucking
No,
wrong.
I agree.
I like that George is in there and that he's involved. Hopefully he doesn't fly off. The guy's kind of a prick. I like him, but he's kind of like very short-tempered and like ready to fly off the handle at any
But
moment.
I think I would be too if it was
I'm not
my
saying it's
baby,
wrong. I'm
you
not
know?
saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm saying that like it would be, they're gonna make the movie, RJ, right? So it's like HBO confirms Game of Thrones film in development. George is involved. He's not writing it. He's involved. So what does that mean? It means if he flies off the handle, they're gonna say, okay, thanks. We have the rights to your shit. So get the fuck out of here.
Well,
We're
yeah,
gonna make
because
it
that's
anyway.
the thing. It's not like George Lucas where he just sold it entirely. Like he's still kind of there, but he doesn't have the power.
Yeah, he doesn't have any
Yeah.
fucking power, and he's the guy that created these characters. I don't see it being necessarily a good thing.
Well, I also don't know if
I
I
mean,
could
Matt-
sit through 3 hours of Game of Thrones, like straight. You know what I mean? Like 1 hour because it's so complex.
could.
I don't
I
know.
could.
I could do it. I could do it if it was good. I could do it.
If
I-
it
I
was
watched
good,
People
but I'm
binge
saying
8
like
hours,
the complexity of it. You know what I mean? Like sitting through 3 hours of that, it's a lot to take in.
I don't know. You're talking to
sick.
you're
I watched
talking to
season 4
three
in one
like
day.
film buff people, dude. Like
get
I
it.
don't know. When I watch a series, like when I watch Game of Thrones, I watched it after season.
You don't
8
want it
came
to
out.
end.
But I watched it after
Yeah.
season 8 came out, and it was the only thing I watched for a week straight. That's how I finished it. Like I become obsessed with it. I just want it to be. It was
Everything.
very good. I watched the entire series immediately, like all in one swoop.
I stayed home from school in high school one day and just watched all of season 4.
That's sick.
It was it was one of the best days. I remember it very well. It was awesome.
Freshman year of college was I watched all of Game of Thrones before season 8 came out. So then freshman year of college, me and all my roommates watched season 8, and we were like, "What the fuck? We waited for that." I feel bad for people who started from season 1.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like maybe I have a case the Mondays, RJ. I don't know what it is, even though this comes out on Friday. But after the Jake Paul fight on Friday that they fucking
Staged.
Not talk
yeah,
about that.
it was fucking bullshit, man. That
John
was-
Jones won though.
John Jones was
I mean, I
John
think-
Jones was a great fight.
Great
that
guy.
was a good thing.
He's a great American.
He's a
Well, that's-
great
yeah.
American
The
patriot.
UFC
right.
knows what they're doing.
Right.
guy. That
And
was
see,
awesome.
UFC.
I was just
Dana
gonna
White.
say-
Dana White should write this fucking movie. That's what should happen.
Dana and Elon.
There you go. We'll put Trump could play. He's an entertainment. He was in Home Alone. Trump. He was a
He started a viral dance.
he did start a viral dance. They're doing it in the NFL.
Everyone's
ban
doing
it.
it.
I bet after seeing that, you want to bring sideline.
Yeah. People,
You know. I don't
Well, I
know.
want before one last thing on this though,
Yeah,
'cause
go
I
ahead.
think it's a through line between what we've been talking about, and
Sure.
Max kind of touched upon it. Was I think the issue is that you have these executives at the head of these companies that have no background in creative things. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yep.
all about making money, the IPs, and I think that they're all trying to keep their jobs.
Yeah.
So they're going to do the safe thing, right? They all want to
Makes-
make
yeah.
sure they're getting their paycheck at the end of the year. So they're like, okay, Star Wars. And I think with Warner Brothers in particular, David Zaslav, he's come out and said, we want to make more Game of Thrones. We want to make more Lord of the Rings. We want to make more Harry Potter. Now we know they're doing that show too.
Hmm.
So like, that's where it's coming from. And I think that's the reason I'm excited for like James Gunn's DC
Mm-hmm.
is because here you have a director and a writer who's
Yeah.
also an executive.
That's a good-
You know what I'm
that's a re-
saying?
that's a really
so
good
like
point.
that's good.
That's a
Mm.
But
really
you
good-
need more of that.
Yeah.
Or have a duo. Like have David Zaslav and then have someone who's a creative so they can kind of find that middle ground. I think that's the issue.
That's
But
a great point.
I hear you. I hear you. I think there needs to be a change up across the board, though, with regard to the way that they make these films. And quite frankly, RJ, I'm going to get out of filmmaking altogether. I think I'm going to go into the acting side of things, especially based on this next
wow.
next topic here. James Bond producers looking for an actor.
boy.
James Bond producers looking for an actor in their 30s for the role of Johns. They're open to it being a person of color, but it could also be a fat, balding white guy from
Oh.
Massachusetts.
There he is, who's 30.
Come
You
on.
are 30. you
I'm
fit
in
the
my
role.
30s. This is why I'm saying I could be the next James Bond here. It looks like popular rumored contenders.
Oh, I like this.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, not even
No,
close
no.
to me.
All right, we'll just do it right
not
now.
even
Whoa.
Okay.
close to me.
Let's just do it right now. Okay.
Right? X
Nope.
marks the spot. Richard Madden, 38.
Yeah,
Get
oh,
the
oh,
fuck out of here.
Okay. All right. Well,
You know what I mean?
We'll go back to that one.
Henry Golding. Next. You know,
don't know
could
who
be
that
all
is.
me. I don't either.
Yeah.
Here, Matt. Okay,
You
good.
know
We're
that
going to be
he's
good.
gone.
I'm going to have Matt stay seated on this one. Henry Cavill.
There
could
we
be,
go. Okay. There we go.
I would
okay.
like that.
Henry Cavill could be
Oh, you
the
skipped
next.
Theo James from White Lotus.
I wasn't skipping. I just wanted to get to
No.
the one from Matt. Theo James from White Lotus.
Nope.
What did he play in White Lotus, RJ?
He was the
The white guy.
the blonde's husband.
Right. He's the Australian guy,
Yeah.
and
He's in the Gentleman Show.
Very good looking guy,
Oh.
but not
yeah.
James Bond.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's not bad.
Really?
I don't
He can
think he's
do it.
bad.
He can
He's
do
got a good face
I,
for it.
I like Henry or Richard Madden. I think those are the two.
I like Theo James. He has like the look. He does a lot. He has this like squinty kind of like.
He's definitely got like a cool, like kind of
He has a
vibe
good
to
look.
him.
Well,
Good
James,
look,
let's
good
be
vibe.
honest here. It's not difficult to play James Bond.
You're just gonna be cool.
You got to be
Yeah.
cool. He's a strong, silent
Yeah.
type, and you have to be agile. Okay, you got to
Yeah.
be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to like do some crazy fight scenes, and he always is in like a little bit of a.
Jam.
You
He
know.
always has the ladies too.
We
Yeah,
got some more here.
Cool.
I'm a big Idris Elba, 52. I think he's.
I love
think he'd be
Idris.
great. I think it'd be great.
These are on the older side.
I love
yeah.
Idris.
Tom Hardy is another one. I actually like
maybe.
the idea of Idris Elba more than Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's so gruff.
Yeah.
He's so like,
Yeah.
you know.
He's
and-
Mad Max.
right. No, I
He just
know.
is
I
like-
know.
He's a little slicker.
Tom Hiddleston. I don't know who Tom Hiddleston is.
Loki.
Loki.
Not.
He's
yeah.
too skinny, I think.
He's not a James Bond. And
He's
same
a
with
good actor,
Killian.
though.
Killian Murphy's up here too. 48.
I think Killian could do it.
I don't think. Listen,
He'd be a good Bond
He's a
villain.
great actor. Yeah.
he
He'd
would
be
be a
great-
fantastic Bond villain. That's a great take. But I
Yeah.
don't think him as Bond works for me. It's really not my thing. I like a Theo James, Henry Cavill. Who's Henry Golding? Who's he? What's he?
Was
in?
that the
He's
Asian guy?
he was in yeah. You know,
He's a good
He was
actor.
in the new Guy Ritchie movie. I think he was in The Gentleman too.
Yeah, he
the
was.
movie.
He was.
Okay.
If you saw a picture of
like
him, you'd know.
I actually really like him. He's a,
Aaron Taylor
He's
Johnson.
big.
What was he in?
He was in
I
that
think
movie.
he's
You
I
were,
think he's the one.
you had a hard on for like that that superhero movie when he like
Bullet
fights like
Train?
lions and shit. Remember we talked about that?
It's the Spider-Man villain.
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
origin story.
Yeah.
Hunter or whatever.
Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, whatever
Craven
the
the
fucking
Hunter.
Craven the Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that guy. I think
I
he's
think it's
probably a
gonna be him.
little too beefy for the James.
I was gonna say
Here's
he's
the
got
thing.
a scruffier look to him. I feel
That's
like.
why I feel like Tom Hardy would be a poor choice. He's just too like
Scruffy.
rugged.
He's
You
a
know what I
street
mean?
kid.
Because this
Bane.
is the thing. James Bond is supposed to be, at least based on my knowledge of James
Slick.
Bond, He's supposed to be clean cut, sleek. You don't even see him coming. He's there. He's there. He steals your wife, and he's gone before you find out.
I fucking love who's
But I
better
will
than
say
Bond?
Daniel Craig.
I love Bond.
Daniel Craig did a nice mix there,
He's the
where he
best.
was gruff and brutal, but he also could switch.
See, I
You know
feel
what
like
I'm saying?
that's why I like Idris Elba. I think
Yeah,
Idris
he could do
Elba.
both.
Yeah,
Idris
oh,
Elba has this.
100%.
First of all, Idris Elba has a fantastic voice that's like very sexy and
Great.
smooth and deep and whatever else, and he's a fantastic actor. But I feel like he could slip into a Casino Royale
Definitely.
really easily, or he could be like, I'm gonna beat the crap out of everybody here and do it in a really gruff way. And I think that would be interesting. I really like Idris Elba. I think
But
he's a
Nick-
great actor.
I
Go.
mean, Nick, you sent that post the other day to me where it said they want someone who's going to be Bond for like the next 10 to 15 years.
You're
And
right.
I think
You're right.
that's why.
But RJ,
Yeah.
I got one sentiment
I'd like to
for
see
you.
it too.
I
but-
will say this, and I'm not the one saying it, but this is a thing that's been said in the community, if you will. Black don't crack, baby. You know what I mean? You don't know how old
No,
these
yeah.
people are. He could be 110. He
Sure.
still looks like he's
But I-
45.
What about Alan Ritchson? He plays Thad in Blue Mountain State. He was in.
Oh no, I don't think he's a good enough actor.
No,
he's
yeah, I
too
agree.
big almost. He's too big.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I
He'd
don't
be
know.
a good Batman in James Gunn's DC.
It's
universe, I think.
Bond is
Ooh.
such a difficult character to cast because you have to have moments that are real, and you got to have a good actor who can like embody the character. But then you also have this like comic book style James Bond guy
Give him a slap.
who runs a you know what I mean? Who's like, because
Yeah.
you got to have this like you have
Connery.
you have to have you have to have this like strong silent type sex appeal, but you also have to be able to get shit done. I mean, I think that you have to be Sean Connery
Give him a
or
slap.
a version of Sean Connery,
Yeah.
like what's his name was
Yeah.
the most recent one, who by the way
Craig.
they said who do you think should be the next James
care.
Bond? What's the guy's name that I'm thinking
Daniel
of?
Craig.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
Right, Daniel Craig. And he goes, I don't give a shit. I'm good. I don't care who it is. He's over it. He's done. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah,
I
it's a
thought it was a
good
great take. He doesn't care anymore.
That's a good answer.
Which is a good answer for James Bond because it's always somebody new anyway. So pick whoever you're going to fucking pick and then move on with your life.
Didn't
you know?
someone ask him? It was like, do you think the next James Bond could be a person of color or someone who's gay? And he's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he gives
I
half
don't
a
know.
shit.
I mean,
He's an actor, not a producer. Go ahead, RJ. What?
yeah, he was getting the page. Well, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, should we? I guess this leads into our question of the day.
There you go. I was
who,
just going to
who
ask
would
it.
we like? Who would we like to see?
Yeah.
And it could not be on that list if anyone's got an idea.
No, that's true.
I mean, to me, if I betting odds, I think it's going to be Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he's hot right now. He's 34, and I just saw. I don't know what the commercial is for. I think it's a beer commercial he's been in, and he's suited up, and he's like in a bar, and I could see the swagger and the suaveness to him. I think he's the guy.
Yeah. Okay. He's the youngest one out of all of them. That's for
But
sure.
he's got that Craven side too. You know what I'm saying?
You know
could
what?
Get gruff.
I'm gonna
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. Go ahead.
I'm going to retract my statement. I actually just looked up who Aaron Taylor Johnson was. I thought it was somebody else.
Yeah.
I saw him in Bullet Train, and he.
Yes, Bullet Train.
Let me tell you, the aura from him in Bullet Train was fucking dripping through the screen. You talk
Yes.
about aura when he like adjusted his suit and was walking on that train. I
Yeah.
retract my statement. I want him as Bond.
He could do it.
I think Henry's a great pick. I think Richard Madden's a great pick. That would be my top three. Idris would actually be my one, unless
He
you
did
know,
like a one-off. Or something.
unless they want to make like 5 movies, and it's like, but like those.
Richard,
You know what they should
okay,
do?
Richard
those would be my
Madden.
guys.
Richard Madden does
Oh,
not
he's
have.
my
Aw.
two.
Have you
does
seen The
not-
Bodyguard?
Whoa.
Yes,
Who-
I've seen The Bodyguard.
TV
I've
show?
seen it. Yes, I've seen it. I've seen all the episodes.
I feel like he could. That's kind of the same deal.
Isn't he Scottish or something? He's
Yeah,
not.
but-
Yeah,
but come on,
no,
man.
I don't know.
See,
So
guys,
was
he doesn't have the
Sean Connery.
gruffness.
So was Sean Connery. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Do you think Henry Cavill's too big?
Too big. How?
Mass wise.
to play Bond.
No, he
I
was
think-
just in that
I
other
think
thing too.
his
The
time is
Argyle
coming gone,
thing.
though.
I wouldn't mind a big.
I don't think. I think he's 41 now. I think they're over him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they wanna
Henry
go
Cavill. I
younger.
think he's on his way out, and I've heard, and RJ, I
Oh.
think you were the one who's told me this in the past that he's kind of a fucking pain in the ass to work with. On
There's
shit.
been rumors about that. I don't know
Yeah,
if I believe it. Well,
Well,
no,
like
no,
on The
I get
Witcher,
that.
on The Witcher and stuff, like when he played The
Oh, I
Witcher,
did hear that.
he played the game, so he was like yelling at production and be like, "You
Yeah,
guys aren't
he's
following
very-
the lore."
Yeah, let me tell you something. That's
Which
not
I
that's not his
respect.
place. You
Yeah.
learn your lines, you find your light. That's
Yeah.
what you do when you're an actor. Okay, we don't need Henry Cavill's opinion on what the fucking script is.
RJ,
Okay,
we got to talk about the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
okay, we will talk about
Yeah,
the
well, I was
Scarecrow
just
in a
gonna
minute. We're still on this topic here. I would say that Theo James I like an
would be
Idris
good, I
Elba,
think,
but
too.
Theo James would be good. I think he's young enough that Theo James is 39. I think by 55, if you look at it 15 years, 16 years, I think he could still be, especially with Hollywood and makeup and all the other shit that they do. I think that he could be a contender. Aaron Taylor Johnson, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Dripping aura.
But I wouldn't. I'm telling you,
think-
I'll be pissed if it's Cillian Murphy or if it's one of these, one of the,
I don't
one
think
of
it.
the bigger,
I
bigger
threw
names.
those in there because people like want to fan cast them.
Who do
But
you
I
comment
think Theo
below?
James.
Comment below.
Yeah.
Who do you think should be the next James Bond? That's what I want to know. I want to know from the viewers.
There you go, the people.
Go
I
ahead.
think Theo James I'd
people.
throw in the same category as Richard Madden, where I think he would be good, but he's almost a little too like pretty. Like he's a little skinny.
Oh, come on.
Theo James is
That's why I
skinny
like-
to you?
I don't know.
I don't think
He doesn't
he's
have
skinny.
to like.
I thought he was
I don't know.
beefy.
Maybe I gotta look at another picture.
Yeah,
of him.
in White Lotus, dude, when he's fighting with the Asian
I
kid.
feel like he's
Okay.
fit. He's
That's
fit.
fair.
Yeah, he's not. Listen,
I'd be
he's
happy
not a
with any of those
monster. He's not
three.
a Hulk, but I
Yeah.
think that he's definitely
Good
cut
shape.
up.
Yeah,
he's
you're
good
right.
shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's it.
Yeah, we don't have to get
Give
into
me.
everything.
I think my money's on Aaron Taylor Johnson, and
I'll
I'd like to
support
see Cillian Murphy as the villain,
The villain,
That's what
even I would love to see Cillian Murphy as like a Russian Bond villain. Maybe like
or
an
even
eye patch.
Elba as the villain.
Was Rami
Elba as a villain. Now we're verging on. We can't. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
was
No, I think it'd be good.
was Rami Malek the guy who played Freddie Mercury in
Yes.
Bohemian? Was he a Bond villain?
In the last movie, he was the villain.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
With the mask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. In the last,
He's
you know what they
weird.
should do?
He was weird.
Isn't he a fucking
He's
weirdo?
They
a
should
weird,
if they.
yeah.
He
Go
is
ahead.
a little. I was gonna say if they
Yeah.
can't if they can't figure out like the direction to go, like the next one, don't rush it. What they should do is say, let's get a great director, a great writer. Say, sign on, do one movie with Idris Elba. Just make one banger with Idris Elba while we decide what we're gonna do and do that.
That
You know
would
what
be.
I'm
I
saying?
would be okay
Let
with
them
that.
have it.
The other thing, RJ, can we just talk really quick? Not to go too inside baseball here, but what the
Sure.
fuck ever happened to auditioning? What is this
I know,
fucking
that's
pick
gone.
and choose of these actors?
It's
who
either
are
Chalamet,
available?
Austin Butler, or fucking Tom Holland.
I know, but this
Those
is
are
my
their
point.
choices.
Why the fuck?
Yeah.
Why do we not go back to remember way back in the day, RJ? When you were a little kid, you'd see that Hollywood was having a movie. They would send a producer all around the country, and there'd be lines out the fucking around the block. People would want to audition to be they did this with Harry Potter. This is how they found Harry Potter. They went all over the world, all over London, all over England, and they were auditioning people. People were dressing up, and it was a whole big thing to find who these three kids were going to be because they needed people that were so young that they needed three nobodies. But what the fuck ever happened to that? Why are we picking off of a list of 5 fucking people? Well, there are plenty of actors out there. John Potvin could be fucking the next James Bond. I wouldn't even complain. Seriously speaking, why are we not looking into why does it have to be 5 names of the top guys that are out there right now? It's gonna be a series that they're gonna beat the piss out of anyway. Why not just fucking have somebody no name that goes in there?
It's kind of like IP almost.
I know.
An actor is an IP too.
I know. It's.
But I will say I'm
annoying.
getting sick of seeing like you get that Chalamet movie coming out with Bob Dylan, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't,
dude.
like,
Didn't they
is he
just
gonna play
fucking
every
do a
human
Bob
that's
Dylan
ever
movie?
existed?
Dune, Wonka.
But didn't they
I don't
just
know.
didn't they just do a Bob Dylan movie where a chick played him?
I don't even know.
I don't
dude.
know.
Oh, not that I know of.
Are you kidding me right now? They just did a Bob
I
Dylan
think
movie.
that was a dream. Nick.
Tambourine Man.
Really?
No. They just did a Bob Dylan movie or a movie where Bob Dylan was played by a woman in
Oh wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. Christian Bale's in that too. What a cast! Richard Gere, Kate Blanchett. Wow. Michelle Williams. Are you kidding me? Why are they making another Bob Dylan movie? This sounds great.
this is what I'm saying. So they just
It's one of the best casts I've ever seen.
I
Jeez.
wouldn't even be upset. Why not just remarket some of these films that you've already made and just re-release them, RJ? Why do we need to continue? And I'm talking about these big studios. Either go to some fucking festivals, go on Tubi, go on some of these indie film find something that's halfway decent and call up the director and say, hey, listen, I want to give you $60 million to make your halfway decent film pretty decent. What the fuck is the problem with that? What is with all of these?
I mean, they're all
They're all what?
they're business minded.
Clearly,
don't
they're
even think
not.
that
That's
way.
what I'm saying.
I don't
They're
know.
minded toward things that have made them money in the past. But the reason that they made the money in the past is because they took the risk and they went out there and they found an original idea that was good. Why the fuck do we need to continue doing this shit? Now, I'm not saying I don't want to see more James Bond movies. James Bond is like an endless. He's.
Sure. You can always reinvent him.
You can always reinvent them, right? Yeah. And I think it's great, and I think that's wonderful. But like, nothing is new. Nothing is new. I don't want to see Tom Hardy up there because I've seen Tom Hardy in fucking everything. I don't want to see these people that I already know because I've seen them in their respective roles. And I'm not saying that they can't get new work or that they can't do new movies, but like, what the fuck?
I feel like James Bond is one of those series where it's like the James Bond, like this should be their breakthrough. You know what I mean? Like this is what they're first known for.
Yeah,
it was for Craig.
It was for Sean Connery as well.
Yeah. And look how
he was an
out.
incredibly talented guy. Sean
no
Connery.
shit.
Yeah,
like
he's
he did
in
a bunch
some.
of shit
He's in some really good films.
He's kind of the man.
But like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? It just.
Well, you know what's interesting about that?
Go. What?
Well, to that point, like, what happens like 20, 25 years from now when you've exhausted all the IPs and you haven't made new ones? So even 20 years from now, you can't be like, oh, well, we're going to make a reboot of that one movie we made in 2015. You didn't make one in 2015. You made Star Wars again.
This is my
point.
point.
It's like they're going to, they're not thinking that far ahead, though. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's not very business-minded, in my opinion, RJ. That's what I'm trying to explain. They are doing whatever is the quickest, simplest cash grab right now, whatever we're going to do. We know people are going to see it, but 20 years from now, and maybe it's a good thing for people like us. I'm not kidding. Because 20 years from now, people are going to say, oh, Universal's coming out with another movie? Who gives a flying fuck? Nobody's going to care.
It might all be robots anyway.
Well,
I got stuck between two Waymos driving home from work the other day.
This is what I'm saying. So maybe we're complaining for nothing. Maybe it's just going to be an opportunity for us to go out there and make some content ourselves. I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let us know who you think the next James Bond would be. Movie Mob premieres every Friday at 6 p.m. here on the Wilco Media channel. And if you want to head over to the Essex Street Entertainment channel and listen to some history with some hungover gents, RJ.
Yeah, just rewatch those episodes that have come out like 100 times.
Rewatch those over and over again and subscribe.
We're in uncertain waters right now.
Right, uncharted waters. Okay. Well, that's good. I feel like everybody's in uncharted waters right now, and I need a fucking nap.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And maybe an Alka-Seltzer or something. I don't know. I'm getting up there. I can't play Bond. I'm too old for Bond. You know?
Maybe you could play Scarecrow.
Maybe.
You got it.
Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I
want to talk to
Okay,
RJ.
Max wants to talk about Scarecrow. Go ahead, Max.
What do you think, RJ?
Well, yeah. So what Max is referring to is a rumor. I sent it to you, Nick. Like, well, it's not really a rumor. There was a shot in the Penguin, where someone screen grabbed it. Yeah, where Sophia's like in his office, Julian Rush's office, and on the table is very clearly like a Scarecrow-esque mask and
a glove.
The glove, which looked very similar to his glove in the Arkham games with the needles.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know. It could be just like an Easter egg, but I doubt it. I think we were right. I think our guts were right, Max.
Yeah, he's gonna be Scarecrow, and I'm for it. The name change doesn't bother me at all.
No, yeah, I mean, he did it with the Riddler. He kind of did it with Oz. So,
I think that could be.
What do you think of that? I mean, I'm not thrilled about the actor though.
Why?
Like, I kind of want someone else. I don't really like him.
Why though? Because of the character he played as Julian Rush?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
He doesn't scare me.
He's
like Cillian scared me.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, like he had that like when he's like it's the Batman, you could see the psycho in his eyes.
Yeah.
Like this guy just seems like a creep.
I feel like I would have to see how this actor is around Batman to really get my feel for him. You know what I mean? Like I'd have to see how he interacted with Batman to see how he'd do as Scarecrow.
Interesting, Matt. How
Maybe
do you
if
feel
he's
about
got a
that?
mask on, I don't know.
I gotta be honest. I don't give a shit. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of forgot he existed.
Wow, Matt hates the Batman.
So I just scared. You know what I mean? You know,
Scarecrow's pretty scary, bro.
When they no, this guy's a creep. He's weird. And you know, in 6 years when he's in Batman 3 for
does it not make sense? Does it
I'll
not
give
make
you-
sense a little
No, it
bit that
does.
the guy who plays, like, think about it logically, like for 2 seconds, pretend Batman's real. Okay, pretend Gotham.
All right. Well, he is.
Pretend Gotham's real. Pretend all of these supervillains are real. Would you not need a total fucking weirdo fruitcake to dress up like the fucking Scarecrow? A Scarecrow and run around the city tormenting
With
people
needles in his hand.
dressed up in a city. You know where scarecrows are from, RJ? The country. You put them out in a field of corn, and you scare
Give 'em
the
a hat.
crows
Where's-
away. You give them a hat to
yeah.
protect them so you didn't get sunburned.
Wizard
That's
of Oz.
what the fuck is a scarecrow doing running around Gotham City? What the fuck is that about?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
What the fuck is that about? I don't know what that's about.
RJ, it could be cool though,
It's
because
crazy.
if they go the same route that they did in the games, where Scarecrow's face gets all fucked up, that's why his mask looks so scary, because
Right.
he reconstructed his face.
Yeah, and those games had the best like things where
Aura.
they would do those like scarecrow missions where like it'd be like a trippy like nightmare that he'd put Batman in.
Mhm.
I think they needed to go that direction. You know that shot in Batman Begins where like Nick, it's all like practical, it's sick, where they like did that gross thing with Batman's mask and they made him look like terrifying. You know that,
scare
Matt?
me. They used to scare me
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Like they got to do more of that. That'd
Yeah,
be
it
cool.
was scary shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think it fits. It's not. I don't give a shit the same as Matt, but like I think it fits. If you're gonna pick somebody, it might as well be the creepy guy that you don't like.
fine,
Why the
whatever.
fuck would we want to pick somebody who we do like to play the fucking scarecrow
Yeah.
fruitcake?
Yeah, throw a
I
mask
think it
on
should
him,
be
whatever.
Timothy Chalamet.
This
I
might
would say that could work. That could be a work. It'd be a little. It'd be a
He
mini
does kinda
crow.
look like a
mini
scarecrow.
crow. running around.
This might get a little deep, and it might be kind of a stretch, but
Yeah.
like
Oh.
looking at how
Little deep and kind of a
Well,
stretch.
the-
Go ahead, take it away, Max.
Where's the wood?
well, the Scarecrow, his whole thing is like he wants to feel fear. So like it would kind of make sense for Julian Rush to be like hanging around Sophia, trying and like I don't remember at any point throughout the Penguin where he showed fear or he showed like he was afraid of Sophia. But it would make sense for him to try to put himself in that position because he's looking to be afraid of something. If
And
that
he
makes sense.
manipulates people's
Yeah.
fears too.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
True.
Which is kind of why he probably gets off at seeing Sophia in Arkham.
Whoa,
Because she's so scared and like, you know.
Getting up. What
I
are
don't
we
know.
Just not
doing?
having a good time.
Watch the burlap there. You know what I mean?
Hey now,
Yeah.
Right.
there you go.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, we're probably not going to find out till
2 years from now.
maybe the next series or movie. We'll see. I don't know.
That's good. All right. Are we good?
Yeah.
Are you satisfied?
I am completely satiated.
RJ, take it away.
How you doing?